Hey guys, seen my previous video? I'm still eating my alligator, and what a perfect time to talk about the movie Crawl. This stuff is really good. Crawl, if you don't know what it is about a woman who can't get in contact with her father during an oncoming hurricane. She's a swimmer in college on the swim team scholarship, and she gets to their old house, and they wind up trapped in the basement with killer alligators. Very simple premise. If the gators don't kill them and they don't get out of the basement, then the floodwaters will drown them. And the movie is very suspenseful. It's realistic at times, over the top with the damage some of these people take at overtimes, but it's a fun ride, and it's surprisingly suspenseful. And not suspenseful, surprisingly emotional at times. Without getting into it, there is an estrangement to the relationship of the father and daughter, and you get some nice emotional moments out of it. The CGI at times can be good, at other times can be wonky, but again, overall, it's a fun summer ride. Sadly, because it's not doing too well in the theaters, but let's face it, your movie nowadays, especially during the summer, unless it's a Disney movie, is at a serious disadvantage. Just saying, you love Disney, great. I'm not here to pick a fight, but they do have a stranglehold on the summer box office, in their movies, because of their money, get marketed better than other movies, and smaller movies like this don't get as much of a chance unless good word of mouth spreads. And sadly, it's not helping this movie, but the word of mouth is really good. The cinematography was great. The scenes that made scale of how big these gators were looked nice, and I like how the two characters at times step up and own the situation, like how the father traps one of the gators and kills it with a shovel, and they just outthink them, and they're constantly having to think to stay alive. I like that. I like smart heroes. For those that claim if you don't like Rey from The Force Awakens, you're a sexist, argument invalid, because people that don't like Rey love this movie, love the main character in this movie. Yeah, she's an extremely talented swimmer, but nothing is handed to her. She had to work to be as good as she is. She had to work hard and think to stay alive, and that's what I like. They're always staying one step ahead. Although, if I'm going to nitpick, there are some scenes where it's almost like the characters were intentionally written to be stupid. Like, she loses her phone, she has to sneak around the basement to get it. And as soon as she gets it, she makes the phone call rather than making it back to the safe spot where she can call without being attacked by a gator. And I'm like, you go out of your way to show how smart these characters are, and then you have them make such incredibly stupid decisions. Another one, when they're going to the roof and they hear a rescue helicopter, and at this point the levee broke, the house is flooding. She runs into a room with water almost covering the window, with about this much space not covered, to wave the signal flare when they're going to the roof where the helicopter could have seen it better. Granted, that scene led to probably my favorite moment with an alligator in the movie, but they could have gotten to that scene in a better way. It's like, okay, to have this scene, we have to make her stupider than she's been for the majority of the movie, and it was just a head scratcher. There are some small side characters, and when you see these people, you know they're not gonna last. But that's just the way things are with these movies. It is what it is. Again, I'm not gonna knock it. The gore isn't even really over the top. When gators attack, it could be bloody, but you just really see the blood in the water. Aside from some of the father's injuries, it doesn't really linger on the details of the damage these gators do. And I thought that, again, was a nice stylistic choice, that it showed evidence of what they're doing, but it left what it really looks like up to your imagination, which makes it more suspenseful. And these characters, again, the two main characters, they were well written enough that you were legitimately scared for them because you like these characters, you care about them, you want to see them survive. And again, the writing for this movie, for the type of movie it was, it's a top-notch creature feature. I know some critics are talking about, this is my, I guess you can say, defend Godzilla King of the Monsters moment. It's a better movie than Godzilla King of the Monsters. They're not even the same sport. This is a creature feature horror movie. The other one is a kaiju movie about city destroying monsters. Not exactly even the same thing to compare. Could you like it better than Godzilla King of the Monsters? Yes, but it's not fair to say this is a better movie than this. They're not even really the same genre, but I am going to get into some spoilers, so I'm giving this movie a solid A minus. Great fun time, but spoilers now, so do your like, share, subscribe thing, and I'll see you in the next video if you're interested in a little bit of spoiler. Here we go. One, I like a nice thing they did. They didn't go for the cheap, common shock value of killing the pet. There's a dog in this that lives through the whole movie. And I want to talk a little about the father-daughter relationship, and I'm going to hush. The father and daughter, she's a swimmer. She's in college for it. And they had kind of a restrained relationship after the father and daughter broke up. We find out she blames herself. The father is ashamed of it too, and there's a scene where they talked, and we find out she feels guilty because it was all the time you were coaching me for swim, taking me there. That's why mom left. And he's like, no, the truth is you kids were the only thing keeping this marriage away. And the house they were in, he was supposed to sell, but he took it off the market because he couldn't bear to part with all the memories in the house. And I thought it was a great touch. My last spoiler, there are multiple alligators, which I have a problem with, at least in the house, because we see a mother gator made a nest in that house, and mother gators are very territorial. She never would have let another gator in that basement. But Crow, like I said, A minus movie, highly recommend. Like, share, comment, subscribe, over and out.